As electric vehicle technology becomes more available to the public and laws become increasingly strict against polluters, many U.S. citizens are adopting zero-emission electric vehicles. Since they rely on electricity to function, this will have a major impact on electrical companies, such as SMUD. In order to minimize effects and maximize benefits to SMUD and the community, it's in SMUD's best interest to begin the preparation for this influx of electric vehicles. The only question is, how can SMUD accomplish this?
First of all, an influx of electric vehicles will eventually lead to the current model of the gas station becoming obsolete. If someone wanted to charge an electric car as they would at a gas station, they'd have to hope for a charging station to be open and then potentially wait for hours before their car is fully charged. Therefore, simply replacing gas stations for electric stations is not a viable solution when people could instead charge at home. As a result, the best solution is to facilitate the implementation of charging infrastructure across the Sacramento area. This would allow people to charge their vehicles while they are doing other activities, so they would not have to wait for hours for the equivalent of filling up a tank of gas. This can also spread the load on the grid across the whole day instead of everyone charging during peak hours at 4 to 6 p.m. when they come home from work. The only barrier to electric charging stations becoming ubiquitous is the cost. In this table from the U.S. Department of Energy report on the costs associated with non-residential electric vehicle supply, the various costs associated with installing electric vehicle charging equipment for each of the three major charging types are shown. This is a large range of prices within each category. This is due to the bulk of most of the cost coming from not the actual unit, but the installation of the infrastructure, the cost of which depends on many factors in the area, such as existing infrastructure, buildings, natural life, and the composition of the underground, as well as other factors. The fact of the matter is that it is inefficient to attempt to estimate the actual cost of a given job without going through the process with a trained professional.
This would be accomplished through partnering with local businesses. These partnerships are in line with SMUD's 5-year plan to enhance the connection between the community and fixing the weakness of aging infrastructure. According to the California Building Standard Commission, the current building standard requires the installation of EV charging infrastructure in approximately 3% of total parking spaces for new non-residential construction. By increasing the EV infrastructure through the placement of charging locations at local establishments, SMUD will improve the time and geographic distribution of charging. In addition, SMUD does not have to pay to acquire land for EV infrastructure such as entire lots, as it is cheaper to put in place the infrastructure such as chargers in the land that is already developed. By using partnerships with business chain, SMUD is not only getting ahead of regulations, but creating a greater distribution of charging. In addition, there would not be an added cost to SMUD, since they will only be adding a few chargers per lot. While SMUD is capable of fully financing any electric vehicle charging equipment that a business requires, covering just a part of the installation cost of this equipment will still achieve the stated goals and require less investment from SMUD. A shared investment would likely be best because SMUD can cover a percentage of the total price of the equipment and installation. Also, SMUD can reduce electricity costs for the charger itself or the entire business location. SMUD currently has a multitude of programs that provide benefits for electric vehicles, especially for businesses. This current model, however, focuses more on the processes of charging. Specifically, SMUD offers reduced rates for the electricity related to charging. While this is a strategy that has a positive effect on the prevalence of EV charging stations, business owners must still pay the upfront installation costs, the large size of which often prevents many from investing. By using the city of Sacramento as a baseline for our calculations, we estimate that Sacramento County has about 1/7 of its land occupied by businesses, the rest being rural, residential, or utility areas, meaning that a rough estimate of 57,175 businesses will be under SMUD's influence. While the proposed $11 million budget can't cover every project completely, various levels of payment can be used to cover most of them. Overall, SMUD can afford to support the purchase of EV charging stations of the businesses under its sphere of influence.